how does desire show up in the day-to-day interactions, in terms of the intimacy with your husband, in terms of choosing what you're going to have for dinner? Like, that's a place that can feel very like monotonous, like not leaving the US for 10 years and anticipating that for another 20, or you can dare to dream, honor your desire, as you've said. So how does that play out in choosing which color toothbrush you buy? Or, I have no idea, but when you talk about daily life having more magic, what do you mean concretely?
That's such a good question, and I love that. I wholeheartedly agree. How you do one thing is how you do everything, and I think, like I said, a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, it's sort of even sad that I would characterize as this, because it's really not part of who I see myself. But I really do think we had sort of this conflict-free, passion-free marriage, and partly, the personal growth journey and also encountering your book, I started to sort of more intentionally cultivate that part of my marriage. I started to, I don't even know how the shift came, but I think that the thesis that you have in your book, that it is exactly that, the fear of conflict, and that's actually going to also that will kill passion. And I think when I sort of really internalized that, I realized it's the differences that we have that is fueling our passion. And so if I just stop being afraid of being different, and him being different from me and me being different from him, just let go of that fear, there, I think something sort of shifted there. And then the other thing that really helped me, Alexandra, was the part in your book, and feel free to fill in the details for me, that I love this scene from your book where you described, I think you were like at a dinner with like at home, you had cooked dinner. You described the scene at home where your young kids at the table and your husband was at the end of this table, and you're looking at him and you're like, well, I could look at him as a co-parent, right? Like, how is he helping with the chores? Is he doing this? Or I could look at him in a totally different way, and I forget the words they use, something,
Yeah, I'll just
like
fill it in. So if you haven't read my book, Uncompromising Intimacy, definitely do. When I reached out to have this conversation, it didn't occur to me that one could characterize this conversation as a testimonial for reading my book, not to in any way minimize everything that you have created for yourself, but to see that as a spark is super fun. But yes, I remember the day when I realized I either ignored my husband at the table because he didn't need me, he's a grown-up and could feed himself, and my kids demanded my attention, or I could look at him as like a really helpful co-parent, because here we were with the kids. But what I had not ever done up until that time was to look at him and experience the sexy man at the other end of the table, the man who is my lover, like this whole aspect of our life that just was never activated unless it was private time at the end of the day and we were both naked. But to be able, without doing anything sexual or inappropriate at the family dinner table, to just see him in that way, simultaneously, of course, took a part of me that was typically dormant and activated it. So that's the part that you're talking about, that really we can go through daily life seeing our daily life partner, or we can see so much more of who this person is, and in that way present so much more of ourselves.